On Larry King Now, the hysterical star of Last Man on Earth, Kristen Schaal. What makes you so damn funny?
I think comedy comes from having an interesting point of view. I don't know, a different perspective.
You see things funny, right?
Yeah. Sometimes I do things that make people laugh and I'm being serious. And that's upsetting, but I've learned to accept it.
Wonder what it would like to be two people, the last people on Earth.
You should watch the show.
What would Kristen Schaal do?
Well, I always imagined that I would sort of maybe break into the Smithsonian and touch all the paintings, stuff like that. You know, get into the Constitution, like touch it, touch it.
What do you make of Mr. Trump? What do you make of the campaign? What's your read on it?
If you imagine Mr. Trump saying things as Mrs. Trump, or any of the male candidates doing what they do as a woman, it's sort of unthinkable, isn't it?
Plus, if you could take one person from history out to lunch, who would it be and where would you take them?
I went to the easy one. I'll take Hitler out to lunch and I'll put some poison in his tacos.
That's next on Larry King Now. Welcome to Larry King Now. Our special guest is Kristen Schaal, the acclaimed actress, quickly rising to the top of the comedy ranks for hilarious fan favorite roles. Kristen is a former Daily Show with Jon Stewart correspondent, has appeared in films like A Walk in the Woods, a great movie alongside Robert Redford, and Boss with Melissa McCarthy. Currently, Kristen voices Louise Belcher on the Emmy Award-winning Fox animated series Bob's Burgers, while in the past she's done the same for projects like The Simpsons, Toy Story 3, and Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. She'll return as Carol Pilbasian on Season 3 of the hit sitcom Last Man on Earth. It will premiere September 25th on Fox. You are very busy.
Yeah, and you nailed that.
Well, how do you do all the things you do? You voice over in cartoons, you're live on another show. What is it about you, Kristen?
Well, I guess I just don't feel right if I'm not making something. So, what is it about you? Don't you have 5 shows?
I don't know what keeps me going, yeah. But it's better than not working, right?
I get bored.
All right, Last Man on Earth is in its 3rd season. Why is it successful?
I think it's just a unique take on an apocalyptic theme. And I think mainly Will Forte is a force. And he's constantly just reinventing the wheel and committing himself in a way that I don't think any other actor would. Like shaving half his head and doing all.
He does that on his own?
He writes it, and then he does it, yeah.
When they brought it to you, what did you think?
I thought it was pretty unusual. It sort of the pilot read like an indie movie because there's just 2 characters alone in the world. And I was just excited to get to say more than a few lines in a show.
So when they said to you, here's 2 characters alone in the world, did you think it would go well? You think it would be a hit?
No, I never think anything is going to go well. I have a really negative protective outlook on life. But
You're a pessimist.
A little bit. I just enjoy doing it while it's happening, but I never imagine that it'll go on longer. Maybe I should.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Big question. Will we see Sudeikis' character return?
I think
he comes in as the 3rd, right?
Yeah, he comes in, he comes in the 2nd season as Will Forte's brother. It's open-ended. We can sort of assume that he died, but we never see it. So, if someone dies alone off camera, do they really die? It's the same thing as the tree.
Yeah, you got a point.
Yeah.
Wonder what it would like to be 2 people, the last people on Earth.
You should watch the show.
No, I wonder what it would be like for me.
Oh, yeah. What would be the first thing you would do if you had the whole world to yourself?
With another girl?
Yeah.
The first thing I would do...
you do that anyway.
What would Kristen Schaal do?
Well, I always imagined that I would sort of maybe break into the Smithsonian and touch all the paintings, stuff like that. Get into the Constitution, like touch it, touch it.
Oh, I see. You got that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'd go to Las Vegas, take all the money, but what would I do with it?
What would you do? Yeah, money means nothing.
There was an old joke about a guy wakes up one day and there's no one around. He's the last man on Earth. And at first he's cooking meals, and then finally he realizes that if there's no other people, life isn't worth living.
Yeah.
So he goes up to the top of a building and jumps And as he passes the 14th floor, the phone rings.
Ooh, yes.
I think that was funny.
Did you ever see that Twilight Zone where there was the last man on Earth there too, and all he wants to do is read books, and then his glasses break?
Wow.
Yeah. That's an old one, black and white.
That was pretty. Where are you from, Kristen?
Colorado.
Where?
Longmont by Boulder.
Have you always had that cute voice?
Yeah. It's my moneymaker.
Okay, you also do voiceovers.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a trick to nailing a voiceover? Is there?
I think
It is acting.
It is acting, and it's like also you are not in an environment where you're on a set of Last Man. You're just sort of in a room, so you have to really use your imagination, and just let yourself go there emotionally in your head.
You do the physical too, though, don't you?
I will do the physical, yeah. If I'm like pointing at things, if you make a point, then you hear it in your voice, and if you make a point.
Do you watch it when it's complete?
Yeah, It's really fun because it takes almost a year to see the finished. Have you done it?
I did Shrek 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I did, of course, the Bee Movie with Jerry Seinfeld.
Nice.
I was Larry B. King.
Oh,
I was a bee.
That's pretty awesome.
Your most notable voiceover is Louise Belcher, right?
Pretty much.
What's going to come in the new season of Bob's Burgers?
Oh, well, the season premiere, Louise Belcher gets the flu, and she has like a fever flu dream, and it's pretty surreal and fun. Have you ever had a fever flu dream?
No, I take a flu shot and haven't had the flu since 1980.
That's incredible.
Yeah, really, it's the truth. I take a flu shot.
Yeah.
I'm the first one online. The flu shot came out this year, August 28th. I was there.
You know what? I get a flu shot every year too because my mom hounds me. She's gonna love this interview.
Next, we look back at Kristen's work on The Daily Show with Jon Stewart and maybe get into a little politics. Stay with us. We're back with the wonderful Kristen Schaal. She's star of so many projects. She's in everything. She's on The Last Person on Earth. She's hanging around. She does a million things, and it's great to have her with us. Before we get into some of your more recent projects, you were the senior women's correspondent for The Daily Show. Mm-hmm. What was that like?
One of the hardest, most proudest things I've ever done. It was just sort of full concentration on figuring out how to make women's issues funny, which I don't think had ever really been done. So it was great, though.
Did they use you frequently?
Not as frequently as I would have liked. Like, I think I did about 20 or so segments over
like working with
8
John?
years. Yeah.
He's a great guy.
Great guy.
Smart?
Mm-hmm.
Easy to work with?
Yeah, fair. And one of the things I loved about working with John is that he doesn't just give you a note. He sort of like opens up discussion about it and then sort of leads you down the path to finding the note together, which is a really unusual, cool thing for a boss.
Yeah, that's why it's called a with rather than a boss.
Exactly, yeah.
Don't you think Jon Stewart would like to be on in this election campaign?
100% no, because he could have if he wanted to. I think I can't speak for him, but I did see him at a USO show that I did last April, and I was worried because I feel like people who are on TV every night, and especially people who make a big influence, you might know this, I think if you stop being on TV, you might get really depressed. So I saw him, and I was like, tell me the truth. Like, are you cool, or is everything okay? And he said he's the happiest he's ever been in his life.
He wants to make films, right?
I don't know what his next move is. I thought that would be it, maybe, but yeah.
In this campaign,
I mean,
David Letterman said he'd love to be back for this campaign.
Maybe he would, maybe he wouldn't. I think there's something about the idiocy of things not changing even after you point it out for 13 years that might have drove him crazy. I don't know.
Do you think the campaign itself is almost comedic enough to not be... You can't satirize what it is.
That's true. Yeah, it is.
It's his own satire.
Yeah. I mean, every night I guess you could call out the new thing that's happening, but it doesn't stop it from happening, which is frustrating, isn't it? Like, you can say this is crazy, but it doesn't change it.
No, and every day.
And everyone agrees, and then the path just keeps rolling along.
Are you involved politically?
Yeah, I've done some campaigning for Hillary Clinton.
Suddenly, I'm not surprised.
I'm very excited. Actually, my first segment on The Daily Show was in 2008, and it was around the time of the nominations, where it was looking like Obama was going to win, and I was depressed because I was a Hillary Clinton fan then too, and I also knew that this society, it's so hard to get a woman nominated. So I made a piece about how I was just going to leave a message for the next woman president in 300 years, because that's how long it's going to take. And that piece was a stand-up bit I did that we wrote into a chat that got on The Daily Show. So it was very fun to go to the DNC 8 years later and see her get nominated. It was a big moment.
Oh, it was a thrill in a sense. What do you make of Mr. Trump? What do you make of the campaign? What's your read on it? How did it get this way?
I think the GOP has lost its way. Obviously, I don't think they're really listening to what the people want, and this is what happens. I think that, I don't know. I think Hillary Clinton is the best candidate to be president, and I've thought that for a long time. And I also just imagine, like, if you imagine Mr. Trump saying things as Mrs. Trump, or any of the male candidates doing what they do as a woman, it's sort of unthinkable, isn't it? And I think Hillary Clinton has sort of been almost flawless in every move that she's done. And if you imagine her doing the same thing she's been doing as a man, it would be like, she's amazing. But I think there's a lot of sexism involved if she gets picked on more than usual.
That's right. If she were doing what Trump would do.
Can you imagine?
They would rack her off the stage.
If she did what if she said the things that Bernie Sanders said, no one would pay attention to her. So it's a very interesting environment, and I think it's a huge deal that she's nominated, and I think she is, as everyone says, more qualified than anyone we've had before.
But are you worried?
That she'll lose.
Yeah.
I think we can't take anything for granted. I was very surprised that Bush got nominated a second time, or that he won a second time. So, I think you have to keep fighting and keep saying what you want and keep pushing the agenda of getting her elected.
Has she disappointed you in any way?
No candidate's perfect. I mean, you can go back at some of the things that she's done, but there isn't anything glaring for me. I feel like she's only surprised me in all the great things that she's done. I don't care about the emails. I'm more excited that she was interested in starting healthcare as First Lady, and that she's not going to stop the healthcare program under Obama afterwards. I think she's really going to get stuff done. Has she disappointed you?
She's not the world's best campaigner. She's not her husband.
Right.
She's not Obama. But I think she's very smart. I've known her a long time. The really personal Hillary's very funny, easy to be around, smart, but that always doesn't come across.
Well, what comes across?
Crowds of 10,000.
When she's just giving her speech and laying out the policy, like she's not cracking enough jokes.
Her voice tends to pitch up.
See, but that's insane that she's getting picked on for that.
Well, you know who had a terrible voice? You know who had a terrible voice? Abraham Lincoln. He had a high-pitched, sing-song voice. He would not have been elected today.
Yeah. I have to say, I have not been, as someone who has a unique speaking voice,
you do.
Her voice has not really rubbed me the wrong way once.
You mean the voice you're using now is your voice?
Yeah, this is it.
I thought you were... Anyway. After the break, Kristen talks about working alongside Melissa McCarthy and Robert Redford. We'll play a little game of If You Only Knew, and that's next. Kristen Schaal is our special guest. She's in so many things: voiceovers, films, television shows. Last Man on Earth. Why is it Last Man and Woman on Earth?
Yeah, I guess because the first episode was just the last man.
How would you define your style?
I guess I really enjoy surreal, sort of absurd things. I'm a huge Andy Kaufman fan. Things like that, things that sort of catch you by surprise, that make you laugh in ways that you didn't expect.
Off the wall.
Yeah.
You've worked with Melissa McCarthy and Robert Redford, two big films. What was that like?
Well, working with Robert Redford and Nick Nolte on on A Walk in the Woods was, it was so exciting because they have so many stories. Like, there was one moment where we were sitting down between takes, and Robert Redford just like shouted over to Nolte. He was like, "When we get more time, I got a story involving Steinbeck, Marilyn Monroe, and my mom," or whatever. And I was like, "Oh!" no, why am I only on set for 2 days? So
Your character was wild in that movie.
I know.
Great character.
Thank you. So yeah, they were great. Melissa McCarthy is.
What about Melissa?
She's so talented. She's very nice. She bought me Starbucks right off the bat, which, now I'm your friend.
She's a great girl.
She's great, and she's
very funny.
Funny, like in every way. Like she can move her body in ways that, like an athlete of comedy.
But Ghostbusters missed. Did you see it?
I did see Ghostbusters.
Missed.
You know what?
Wasn't funny.
There was a lot riding on it. I would have liked to have seen the Dan Aykroyd and Bill Murray and everybody as their Ghostbusters characters at the beginning. Have them get blown up by a giant goblin, and then these ladies come and they're like, "We gotta take over now."
I don't think it went haywire, the movie. I think it
You
lost
weren't
me.
a fan. Well,
I was in the first Ghostbusters.
Were you?
Yes, I took one of the calls. I had my show and smoking cigarettes, and a lady called in, saw a ghost, and I kept hanging up on people, thought they were nuts.
Do you feel burnt that you were invited back to the remake?
I'm glad I wasn't in this one.
Okay.
No, I wasn't. Okay, we're going to play a little game of You Only Knew.
Okay.
Who was your celebrity childhood crush?
Oh, probably celebrity childhood crush. Pee Wee Herman.
Yeah, I would guess that. Best piece of advice you ever got?
Be tenacious.
Worst piece of advice you ever got?
Worst piece of advice. Go out with him.
Something you change about the world?
Probably less plastic bottles being thrown into the ocean.
If you could take one person from history out to lunch, who would it be and where would you take them?
I went to the easy one. I'll take Hitler out to lunch and I'll put some poison in his tacos.
So you go to a Mexican restaurant with Hitler, is that it?
Yeah, but I would put arson in his tacos.
Taco Bell maybe, or a fancy Mexican?
Well, I'd have to go fancy with him because I feel like he thinks he deserves it.
Guilty pleasure?
Guilty pleasure, wine, 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 wine.
Best part about being famous?
Probably getting to meet you.
It's completely understandable. Funniest fan encounter?
The funniest fan encounter, probably, Richard Blade. Do you know Richard Blade? I was just like turning and someone was talking and I heard this voice and I was like, Richard Blade! And it was like, I just went crazy. He's so fun.
Do you do impressions?
No.
A superpower you wish you had?
Probably flying. Oh, so boring.
I'd be invisible.
Yeah,
Think about
because you're everywhere.
Biggest risk you ever took?
Biggest risk, probably comedy. Yeah.
It wasn't a woman's game, right?
No. And for a while I woke up wishing I could do something else, like be a botanist, like a 9-to-5 job.
Well, you had that voice, right? And
I had that voice.
where did it come from, though? Was your mother have a voice like that?
Nobody has this voice. It just didn't change after I grew into
Where
a
you from?
woman. Colorado,
Oh, yeah,
Boulder.
you told me.
Might have been the altitude.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I forgot that you told me, but see, I shouldn't have remembered it.
It's all right. Don't get angry. They'll edit it out.
Person you'd like to change places with for a day?
Ooh, yes. Please, can I see what Beyonce's world is like?
I don't see you as Beyonce.
Well, nobody does. But I will be her for a day
Right?
because of this.
Correct. Who's your dream co-star?
Beyonce.
What's your biggest pet peeve?
Biggest pet peeve?
What bugs you, Kristen?
Whining. When people whine, especially on a set of a television show. I'm
Do
like,
people
are you
do
serious?
that? Yeah.
Yeah, they can't help it. And then I do it. And so it's like self-hate.
Biggest misconception about Hollywood?
That people don't work hard.
Oh, that's a biggest misconception.
Yeah, we don't go home.
5 in the morning.
Yeah.
Kristen Schaal in 10 years.
Hopefully I'll have my own talk show after I've done my own TV show for a while, and then I'll have my own talk show. I think
That's what you
so
want to
fun.
do? Yeah.
I think I could interview the out of you, Larry King. I think I could do it.
It beats work. It does. Well, hey, you sit here, you ask questions, you go home.
Yeah.
When we come back, Kristen will take your social media questions. And don't go away.
Dun, dun, dun.
We're back with Kristen Schaal. She starred in A Walk in the Woods. She's in so many things. And, of course, she'll return as Carol Pilbasian on Season 3 of the hit sitcom Last Man on Earth. Its premieres September 25th on Fox. Before we have some social media questions, you've joined the cast of the animated movie Captain Underpants. That's a children's book.
Yeah.
Who will you play?
I play Edith, the cafeteria worker, which is so exciting because I think sometimes people think they know me and then they think, oh, I'm maybe a cafeteria worker. Like I got the face for it.
What does she look like when they draw her?
She's got her hair over one eye, and she's got like food on her clothes. Edith.
Have you got to see it yet?
Nope. Yeah.
But I bet you look forward to how they pull it off, right?
I do. Yeah, I get to work across from Ed Helms. So
You started recording?
It's done. It's in the can.
It's in the can.
Yeah.
Well, you do a lot of things. We have some social media questions for you. At 721TV on Twitter, how do you prep for Bob's Burgers? How does that differ from your prep for Last Man on Earth, beside the fact that Last Man is on camera?
Well, Last Man on Earth, I have to memorize my lines, so that takes some time. Bob's Burgers, I don't. I guess I prep.
You read them, right?
I read them. And then we get to improvise more, too. So I try to make sure I get a good night's rest, and I get caffeinated, because Louise has a lot of energy. I try to be in a good mood.
Are you married?
Yeah.
What does your husband do?
He's a writer. He wrote for The Daily Show for 10 years, and now he writes on Fresh Off the Boat.
Is that where you met?
We met during the writer's strike.
You have children?
No.
Do you want children?
Yeah.
Don't get so excited about it. Bonte Price on the Larry King Now blog. What makes you so damn funny? What do you think it is?
I think it's just something, maybe, I think comedy comes from having an interesting point of view. I don't know, a different perspective.
You see things funny, right?
Yeah, I guess to her. Sometimes I do things that make people laugh and I'm being serious. And that's upsetting, but I've learned to accept it.
Does your husband understand it?
Yeah.
At Bullet Stringer on Twitter, what do you think a trip to Comic-Con with Larry King would be like?
Well, I've been to Comic-Con 7 times.
I went once, that's enough.
You're done. I mean,
it's insane.
You have to go in disguise, don't you?
No, I went as me, but it was just...
Too much.
They're nuts.
It's nuts, yeah.
Why do they go to that? Who are those people?
I'll tell you who they are. They're the fans, and they're wonderful. And it's the first time that you can feel the love in person.
But fan is short for fanatic. That's what it is.
Yeah, well, it's what pays the bills. And God bless them for watching our work. Thanks, fans. I've never fan-kissed so hard.
At KJM1016 on Twitter, who were your comedic heroes growing up?
I really loved Carol Burnett.
Must be Carol Burnett.
Of course. Gilda Radner, duh. I love the Muppets. I love Fozzie Bear, Kermit, Miss Piggy, and another sort of mind mold for me was police academies. Probably the second one especially.
They were funny. Oh, yeah.
They were funny.
Yeah. Corey Anderson on the Larry King Now blog. What historical figure would you like to play in a movie?
I think I could easily play, hold up, that silent movie star, Mary Pickford, duh. Mary Pickford, please.
Why?
Because I got the cheeks, I got it. Who knows if she sounded like this? I mean, she was silent the whole time.
Ash B on the Larry King Now blog. Are you friends with Abby and Alana from Broad City, and would you ever make an appearance on their show?
I actually did a little spot on their web series before they got huge. I am friends with them. They're lovely. I would love to do more Broad City.
Ash B on the Larry King Now blog also asks, have you ever met Hillary Clinton?
Yes.
What was the circumstance? What was it like?
Well, I got to meet her at a fundraiser through Mary Steenburgen, who's also on Last Man on Earth, and I believe grew up with Bill Clinton in Arkansas, so they're old family friends. So it was the perfect intro. She shook my hand, and she shook it for a long time. And it was really nice.
And finally, what was it like, Aaron on Facebook, what was it like to work on 30 Rock with Tina Fey?
Well, I had a huge crush on Tina Fey before going in there. So, I mean, no one else was doing what she was doing, and I looked up to her so much. So I was so happy that the circumstances to meet her for the first time was on her show. You know, yeah, so that was really fun. Also, I'd been watching the show for so long, so it's crazy to be on a set of a show that you've been watching. And it's a TV show and a TV show, so you don't know who's working on the show and who's also working on the show. So it's really crazy.
You're a delight, Kristen.
Thank you. You too.
A big thanks to my guest, Kristen Schaal. Be sure to see her in Season 3 of Fox's Last Man on Earth. It'll premiere September 25th, and as always, you can find me on Twitter at King's Things, and we'll see you next time. On Larry King Now, the hysterical star of Last Man on Earth, Kristen Schaal. What makes you so damn funny?
I think comedy comes from having an interesting point of view. I don't know, a different perspective.
You see things funny, right?
Yeah. Sometimes I do things that make people laugh and I'm being serious. And that's upsetting, but I've learned to accept it.
I wonder what it would be like to be two people, the last people on Earth.
You should watch the show.
What would Kristen Schaal do?
Well, I always imagined that I would sort of maybe break into the Smithsonian and touch all the paintings, stuff like that. You know, get into the Constitution, like touch it, touch it.
What do you make of Mr. Trump? What do you make of the campaign? What's your read on it?
If you imagine Mr. Trump saying things as Mrs. Trump, or any of the male candidates doing what they do as a woman, it's sort of unthinkable, isn't it?
Plus, if you could take one person from history out to lunch, who would it be and where would you take them?
I went to the easy one. I'll take Hitler out to lunch and I'll put some poison in his tacos.
That's next on Larry King Now. Welcome to Larry King Now. Our special guest is Kristen Schaal, the acclaimed actress, quickly rising to the top of the comedy ranks for hilarious fan favorite roles. Kristen is a former Daily Show with Jon Stewart correspondent, has appeared in films like A Walk in the Woods, a great movie alongside Robert Redford, and Boss with Melissa McCarthy. Currently, Kristen voices Louise Belcher on the Emmy Award-winning Fox animated series Bob's Burgers, while in the past she's done the same